Vice President J.D. Vance will make his first trip abroad since taking office to attend the AI Action Summit in Paris. This as the Chinese AI app DeepSeek has made waves in the AI arms race. For more on this, let's bring in Physna CEO Paul Powers. Paul, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Would you say that this is a real turning point for the future of AI, and what would you suggest that this administration do to navigate this?
That's a great question. So this is more than just a regular summit. They're going to talk about policies, but really what's happening is it's a much larger summit than we've ever seen for AI in the past. You're having much higher ranking individuals appearing, not just from the US government, but the Chinese government as well. And really what this meeting really comes down to is everyone in the world is going to be looking at the different countries like the US and China, and they're going to say, okay, who's actually going to lead the AI race moving forward? Who's going to step into that leadership role? And they're going to look for who's got a plan, who's got the policies, and who's acting on those policies. And really comes down to, is it going to be China or the United States, right? So when it comes to how do we put a stake in the ground and show American leadership here, I think the administration's been doing actually a pretty good job of that in general, right? So there's a few things it's been doing right. It's been investing in AI. It's been avoiding over-regulating AI. And I would say the most important thing is it's actually utilizing AI. You had a guest on earlier talking about DOGE and how AI was is being used to actually help reduce some of the costs in the U.S. government. There are massive amounts of waste. There's a massive amount of waste in the Department of Defense. At Physna, we recently started working with parts of the U.S. Air Force to help with part sourcing automation through AI. And what we realized was, according to the government's own estimates, if we were to expand that effort to cover the whole Department of Defense, we'd be saving over $25 billion a year from overspending on parts. Many of these parts that we're overspending on are from foreign manufacturers. So those are jobs that could be going back to the U.S. We could be saving money, and we can get those parts faster, which means that our combat readiness improves. So utilizing AI is part of the picture too, because it means that we actually improve our national security in the process.
Is there a risk that the United States puts all of this money into artificial intelligence, and then that information and those advances are very quickly somehow taken over or used by foreign actors, and we put the money up front and then everybody else enjoys the benefits?
It's possible, but it's not possible if you keep investing, right? I mean, the thing about AI is it's not like you invest and then, okay, we're done, we've won the AI race. It's an ongoing race, right? So we're going to make advancements that people are going to watch it, they're going to learn from it, and they're going to be able to get to where we got faster than we got there. But as long as we're investing in it heavier than they are and we're moving faster than they are, by the time they catch up, we're already 10 steps ahead. What we found through DeepSeek, though, is that it's not enough to just invest in infrastructure. And I think the administration was very, very wise to do what they did. The $500 billion investment announcement they made about AI infrastructure in the U.S. is a very wise decision. But what DeepSeek showed is, look, if you have, those are startups, and there's agile, creative teams out there who are very smart, who can find ways to upend the entire game just by thinking outside the box. And so what that says is that the U.S. can't just just invest in infrastructure, and then the really big, large, established companies has to invest in startups. It has to invest in smaller groups competing with each other, thinking outside the box, and finding the new breakthroughs. Mm-hmm. And if we do that, we'll continue to win. But what it shows is that China's on our heels, that we're not that far ahead.
Yeah, and speaking of China, TikTok is also on the table here. J.D. Vance apparently is working on some sort of deal. Do you think that TikTok should survive in the United States?
I think it should survive in the United States as a United States company. I think that if we can sell it in the United States, we'll be fine. The problem that you have with TikTok and DeepSeek, and it's unfortunate for, and I'm sure some really great business people in China, but the Chinese law is the problem, right? So under Chinese law, the Chinese Communist Party can investigate and they can source and audit all the data that they want for any reason they want. So any information stored on Chinese servers, right, or anything that could be accessed by the company based in China, if the CCP comes in and says, I want that information, they have to give it to them. So when it comes to things like DeepMind being potentially banned on all federal, government employees' devices, and the concern around TikTok, it's legit. There's a real concern about handing American intelligence to the Chinese government on a silver platter.
Yeah, plenty to watch there. Paul Powers, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.